Hope everybody's looking forward to Christmas. It's been a really good season for us up to this point, and looking forward to our ball game on Christmas Eve against the Chicago Bears. Should be a really good ball game. So glad to see everyone in person. Really good.
Cold games in Chicago. 85 Bears played a cold one against the Giants. You remember that? What was your coldest Chicago game?
Oh, man. We had some cold ones. I was just talking to Kevin about it. I can remember a game where wind chill was, I don't know, minus 20, minus 25 in one of our ball games. So cold, Mark. So you're right. Familiar with cold games at Soldiers Field. But sounds like this one's going to be a cold one as well. And, we'll go out and look forward to playing.
Elam got some work again in the rotation. So what'd you make of his play?
I thought he did a lot of good things in that ball game. It was really encouraging to see him come out and get his hands on some balls and make some plays for us. And we were pleased with his overall play, really pleased. Yeah, I like to think so. The fact that he was down previously, and then to be able to get back out and get on the field and go play and to play as well as he played, this should be a confidence booster for sure.
Seeing Dane handle now being part of a rotation.
He's gone through this before when Levi was here, where he and Levi were rotating, and so I don't think it's foreign to him. It's just a little bit different because early on, he was the guy without Trey being involved, and now that Trey is back, he's in a role that he's been in previously, and he's handled it well, as well as can be expected. And we're going to need him for sure. And hopefully Kaiir keep coming along, and eventually maybe Xavier get back out there and play as well, and hopefully Christian will be back and we can get him in the mix also. But I think to answer your question, I think Dane has handled things well.
What's your take on the run defense in the Miami game?
Oh, not very good. I mean, to give up a 71-yard run, it's never something you're happy about, and we didn't do a good job of being in our gaps, which is usually the case when you give up a 71-yard run and then we didn't tackle well. You saw it, I'm sure, Mark, where we had 2 or 3 guys at the point that could have made the tackle, and we didn't. Thankfully, Taryn makes the tackle down near the goal line, and our guys go out and hold him to a field goal. But overall, disappointed in that first half. The second half, we played the run a little bit better, but you don't like to give up a 71-yard run.
You got Tyreek running the jet sweep. I mean, your linebackers have to shift over a gap. Can you really blame them when they shift over and the guards are getting up on them?
Well, it's really nothing we haven't seen before. We've seen those type of runs, and on most occasions we've handled them a lot better than we did on that one. And it's not like that was the last time we saw it. There was not another 71-yard run. They did come back to it again, and that's what teams do. If they hit something, they're going to come back to it, and we defended it better. And I'm sure we'll probably see it again this weekend. So, we have to defend that play.
Coach, how dangerous is Justin Fields?
Man, Mookie, 1,000-yard rusher at quarterback. I mean, that doesn't happen very often, and he's dangerous. I mean, he's extremely dangerous with his speed, and he's got a good arm as well. He can throw the football. He's not just a one-dimensional quarterback, but for sure his strength is scrambling and making plays with his feet. I mean, they have a lot of design quarterback runs because of that. So he's really good carrying that football.
How much do you carry over from facing Lamar earlier in the year and even somewhat recently a few times to combat and defend a guy like Fields?
Yeah, I think you have to look back a little bit and just see some of the things that we did against Lamar, and I'm sure they're doing the same thing. And Lamar's outstanding running quarterback and can throw it as well, and they're similar in a lot of ways. But yeah, you do reflect back a little bit on some of the things you've done in the past.
Obviously, you're fourth. You were now fourth in the league in run defense. It sounds like you're not worried that the Dolphins unlocked a problem that everyone can just exploit.
Well, like I said, you don't want people to feel comfortable running the ball, and we've had some situations where not only this year but in years past where someone had some success running the ball, and then you got to regroup, you got to learn from it, and and play it better going forward. And we've been able to do that in the past, and you like to believe that we can do it again. So.
What's been the vibe in the meeting rooms when you guys are looking at that tape and talking about some of those missed tackles? When these are proud guys that have had a great season, I'm sure that there's probably an energy around fixing the problems that you diagnosed.
You're absolutely right, Matt. There's an energy around that, and guys do have a lot of pride, and they want to get better at that part of the game. Because in the NFL, on defense, you have to tackle. Now, this time of the year, you can't really work on it the way you want to. You don't have on pads. This is a non-padded week for us, but you have to mentally put yourself in that frame of mind to be able to go out and tackle and get guys to the ground. That's a big part of being successful on defense. And, our guys have rebounded in the past when it comes to that. Now, this week, we're playing the team that has the most rushing yards on average per game than anybody in the league. So, we'll have our hands full in the run game, and we got to do a good job versus the run.
He's run up. Go ahead. I was just going to say, how much can getting Jordan Phillips back help with that if he's able to play?
I think Jordan will definitely help us, Elena, but it still takes 11 guys. But it'll be great to have him back, and hopefully coming off this injury, he can go out and give us something similar to what he did prior to the injury. And if that's the case, that'll help us for sure. But it takes all 11 guys.
You brought up Christian a moment ago, and he's eligible to return for a couple weeks here. What does that all look like when you have another player that you want to get on the field? Because you guys have, split snaps with 2 guys before, but I don't recall you've done it with 3 before. So how does that all look?
Yeah, it remains to be seen. I don't see us going 3 or 4 guys either. So. It'd be good to get Christian back when the time comes, and then we'll sort it out when that time comes. Things change so much from week to week, but we'll see where we are when he's able to get back on the field.
It's been a balance for a while of hoping for some continuity there, but also wanting to get different looks at guys. Is it any different at this point in the season where there's only a few regular season games left of, do you need to solidify it a bit more, or is it still kind of wanting to leave people in?
Yeah, I think Catherine is beginning to clear up a little bit. This last game, I think, helped us in a lot of ways to create some clarity, just being able to see Kaiir go out and play as well as he played. And hopefully, between he and Dane, they can put back-to-back games together. It's great to have Trey back out there competing. So I think things are beginning to clear up for us. Hopefully, this next week will solidify some things in our mind as we get closer to the end of the regular season. But, it's still taking views at guys for now, but hopefully it's Dane and Kaiir, and we'll see where it goes from there.
You mentioned a little week ago, it's good to see Trey progressing. You understand he's not going to be Trey probably for a bit here, but did you notice another step forward in even just his personality and the way he carried himself, and certainly the play against the Dolphins?
Yeah, I thought, John, it was a really good week in preparation for him, better even than the weeks before. His confidence, you could see it growing, and he made some really good plays on the ball in that game as well against an outstanding receiver. So I think it was a big step for him to go up against that type of competition, to get another gauge of where he is and what he needs to work on. So, and that's just part of the process. But I think it was a good game for him to be able to get a feel for where he's at.
You mostly had him shadow Waddle, and I know most people would think you would go with Tyreek. So what went into that decision?
Well, we were doing some things strategically for Tyreek, and that kind of played into that. So without getting into too much detail, yeah.
We've talked all season about the value of Taron. Was there any point? I get that you would not be. That's your defense, Taron. You're not. Unless they come out with, 10 offensive tackles, you're not taking Taron off. What do you think? Taron is your guy.
Yeah. Taron has done a great job for us, as you know, over the last few years, and he's a big reason why we've been able to play good defense. So
you don't want somebody to run you out of your nickel.
No, you have to be conscious of that possibility, and we do have some contingencies, but the way we played the run better in the second half kind of solidified. We have some answers. If you're not in your gap, it doesn't matter if we're in base personnel or not. It doesn't. If you don't tackle, it doesn't matter what personnel you have on the field. So When it's that issue, that's one thing versus schematically, you can't get it done with that personnel that's on the field. But missed tackles, gap integrity, that's a different matter.
Ken talked about how he's got 2 game plans if it's an extreme weather situation. You had the extreme weather game against New England here last year. Is it almost like, do you have 2 game plans, or it's just you focus on this side of the call sheet?
No, you do need to have a contingency for sure, because weather, like that New England game, can really change strategy. And we've been on a few weather games over the years, and you do have to have a plan if things get so severe that it alters the passing game or it affects the run game, whatever it may, the footing on the field. So you have to think those things through ahead of time, and you hope whatever you go to works.
Damar Hamlin, he's a second-year player, but at safety, you kind of say that he's kind of like a rookie, right? Because he's starting games, he's playing for a long stretch of time. How have you seen him handle that role and assess what you've seen out of him from a playing perspective, especially over the last couple of weeks?
I think, Matt, he's really grown over the last, say, 3 or 4 weeks. He's really taken a big jump. He's tackling better, still an area he wants to continue to improve on. But the biggest leap has been his confidence and being able to communicate. We counted on Micah and Jordan for so long to communicate on the back end with the rest of our secondary and linebackers and to help Tremaine. Well, losing Micah, we lost some of that, and Jordan has been kind of in and out of the lineup at times. So we needed Damar to step up verbally, and he's begun to do that, and that's big for our pass defense and our run defense as well. So it's good to see him growing in that area.
What have you seen from Micah behind the scenes? Like, what has he been like in terms of going through this? He hasn't missed time like this before.
It's a good question, Atlanta. He's been really good for us in the meetings. I've referenced him so many times with Damar, with Daquan Johnson, and just trying to get those guys to go back and look at some of Micah's tape to be able to get a feel for how he operated. And but his words of encouragement to those guys, his being at practice, his watching tape with them, all those things have to help them. And that's one of the reasons I think Damar has gotten better as the years gone on because of Micah's presence, as opposed to if he were not in the building, not around. I think that would kind of hurt us a little bit. He's been a big plus for us.
The sideline with a headset and all that? Are you like, should we bring you on as a coach?
Yeah, he's been good in that respect as far as communicating and talking to the guys and encouraging them. And so, appreciate what he's doing. He may have a future in coaching one day for sure.
What did you think of Greg's game, Greg Rousseau against Miami?
Greg has continued to play well for us, Mark. He had another good game for us. There were a couple of plays that if he weren't on the field, I wonder how those plays would have gone. So he played well in that ball game, and it's just good to have him back on the field. Those games when we didn't have him, you could really feel the difference, and you can feel the difference when he's on the field as well.
You guys clinched a playoff spot on Saturday, 4 seasons in a row. Did you have a chance to reflect on that and what it means for the Bills organization to have that level of success?
Yeah, it's so hard to sit back and reflect because you go from playing that game on a Saturday to coming in on a Monday in preparation for another Saturday game. So you don't really have a chance to take a deep breath, maybe after the season. But there's so much that we want to accomplish as a team. And I know for me personally, you're not really in a reflective mode yet. You're thinking about the next opponent and what you have to get done. Although, we're all proud of the fact that we've made the playoffs again, but there's more. I don't think any of us have sat around and thought a whole lot about that achievement. Although it's quite an achievement for sure.
What's windier, Soldier Field or Highmark Stadium?
Oof, I've played in some very, very windy games at Soldier Field, but I don't know if I played in one quite like the one we had against New England a year ago, but a lot of windy games at Soldier Field. It would be close between the two.